Okay, so we're going to just dive right in. And our first speaker is Alexander Santana.
Thank you very much. I hope everyone can hear me good. So today I want to be presenting a speech that is titled "In the Threshold," and this is a transition between military back to civilian life. For anyone who ever joins the military, the first set of orders that that person will receive, it's a set of orders to go to boot camp or basic training, how it's whichever way you know it. To put it into perspective, the goal of basic training or boot camp, it is to break the military and to break the civilian and make you a military person. Upon completion of this program, the person will be able to proudly represent the armed forces of the United States of America and proudly wear the uniform of whichever branch of service that person decided to join in. But most importantly, that person will be able to follow the orders of those in the chain of command without any hesitations. I grew up in a Catholic family. I knew since I was a little that I wanted to join the priesthood. That was my calling. I wanted to become a priest. Once I joined the seminary, it was through prayer and meditation that I grew up in my faith. Then 3 years later, I got out of the seminary, and a few years more, I got married, and then September 11 happened. And this event just impacted me so deeply that I could not just sit around and not do anything. So I decided to join the military, and I joined the Navy. I found myself attached to a highly deployable tactical unit that sooner than later, I was headed to the Middle East in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. We landed in an undisclosed remote location in the middle of the night. Once the ramp of the airplane touched the ground, we were instructed to gear up and form a single line and quickly disembark and board a bus that was waiting for us. I couldn't help but to notice the extreme military presence and the safety precautions that we were taking. I noticed it on the military tanks that were blocking every single intersection as the convoy started to move, and all this while the military helicopter was hovering above us. That was a moment of realization for me that this was no seminary in life anymore. This was war, and I had to adapt. So, as a coping mechanism, I immediately became guarded, hyper vigilant. This adrenaline kicked in, and I just became hyper vigilant 24/7. And this lasted for the duration of the deployment. I had to numb my feelings and beliefs in order to protect the mission. And if I wanted to come back home alive, I had to be guarded. I had to be hyper vigilant. So flying back home, it was a time that I have allotted to find the switch inside me and turn it off. And all this hypervigilance mode and everything, it was going to be turned off. But I forgot one thing. No one ever told me that that was an option. I forgot to install an off switch in my head. So I couldn't find it. And I realized that as a very thick mental cloud took over me, and all these emotions that I was suppressing wanted to come back alive as we landed at Coronado Naval Base. And all I remember, it was shaking hands of high military officials, and then boom, my mother was in there, was hugging me. My then wife was hugging me. And all this while the national television cameras were right in my face, trying to capture every single drop of tear that it was coming out of my eyes to see the emotions. Those emotions that I was so much trying to contain, right? So I got what it's called the 30 seconds of fame, being on national television and coming back and the heroes and everybody cheering. But the moment of truth came when I stood in the threshold of my home, and the threshold on my door, and I opened the door and I found the spiritual person that I have left behind, the civilian person, that literally immediately stopped me and say, "Who are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm the military that is coming back." No, you're the one who actually removed God from the top priority, and you allow the government to take position to replace the God. You allow the government to dictate what you were going to do and what it was important of you. And I was like, no. So I started having all this anxiety, this first signs of PTSD, these nightmares and these night sweats and everything. And I started, as I look around, I noticed my family and my siblings and my family and my friends and everybody took a quick, a silent stand. Like no one would dare to say anything. They were quick to judge me and say, oh, he just came back from war. He's not all there. He's not doing well. But no one will say anything because they didn't know how to help me. So I run to the VA looking for help. And all I got was a prescription of antidepressants. And they said, here, if within 2 to 3 weeks you don't feel better, come back and we'll double the dosage. My purpose on this is to bring awareness to you, the civilian person, and to the military culture. This is a real tangible problem that we have. This is a real issue that we have. And if we continue to ignore and to deny that this issue exists among us, 22 more veterans will commit suicide today because we don't have a system in place that will allow us as civilians to educate ourselves and to be able to help and provide a safe return home to our veterans. So my plea is for you guys to please get involved. If you see a veteran coming back and struggling, don't just stay in there and be quiet. Try to help, educate yourself, and become involved. Thank you.